Coverage you can count on. This is WTVM News Leader Now. Sponsored by Montlick & Associates, Columbus Injury Attorneys.
Good evening. Welcome to News Leader 9 at 6. I'm Jason Dennis.
And I'm Barbara Goche. Thanks so much for joining us. Murder behind bars. Tonight, investigators charging an inmate with killing another. Deputies say the victim, Eddie Nelson Jr., was beaten to death by a cellmate over the weekend.
The suspect is the same man who told authorities 2 weeks ago he had attacked another man because of his race. Muskogee County Sheriff Donna Tompkins answering our questions today.
The reason I didn't call the GBI about this case was we have a deputy sheriff who observed this. This is not a whodunit. We know what happened, and the person has been charged with murder.
The suspect, Javon Hatchett, was in jail following what police call a racially motivated stabbing of an AutoZone store employee he did not previously know. Hatchett reportedly admitting to police he stabbed the man because he was white. At News Leader 9's Samantha Serban is live tonight at the Muskogee County Jail. Samantha, lots of questions about how these two came to be housed together given the suspect's most recent arrest. Tell us more about what you were able to find out today.
Barbara, Muskogee County Sheriff Donna Tompkins says although WTVM released information regarding Javon Hatchett's motivation for the assault at the AutoZone, neither she nor anyone at her department knew of the potential threat Hatchett posed to his cellmate, Eddie Nelson Jr., who is white. Now Tompkins is ordering a subsequent investigation to find out how that information was missed. Muskogee County Sheriff Donna Tompkins says more than 72 hours after one inmate beat another to death, the suspect is now charged with murder. Here's how Tompkins says the events played out.
One of our deputies was alerted to a fight in the dorm by other inmates. Our deputy entered the dorm and observed inmate Javon Hatchett on top of inmate Eddie Nelson.
Even with medical aid, Nelson died as a result of his injuries. Tompkins says as deputies pulled 19-year-old Javon Hatchett from Eddie Nelson Jr.'s body, he made this comment.
The utterance he made was that the inmate had put a hair in his sandwich.
Tompkins says Hatchett did confess to killing Nelson. Hatchett was in jail originally for what authorities say is a racially motivated stabbing at the AutoZone 2 weeks ago, begging the question why Hatchett was sharing a cell with a white inmate to begin with.
We were not notified of the specifics behind this crime. I understand that the media reported it, but that does not necessarily translate to something that law enforcement would pick up.
Tompkins says the initial report the jail received from police did not indicate any threat or show the motivation police say Hatchett confessed to them.
I did order a subsequent investigation, an internal investigation into his classification and what knowledge we had of his charges.
There is no external agency looking into the murder. Why?
Because I had a deputy who observed it happening.
Sheriff Donna Tompkins says the investigation is still active. There will be a court hearing tomorrow morning at 9. I'll be there to bring you all the latest details. Barbara?
Yeah, it's such a tragedy there. Samantha, in Hatchett's previous charges, police say he admitted the attack was racially motivated. So how did authorities not know this when he was being processed? You would think this would be information that would be shared.
Barbara, that's one thing many of us are still wondering. Sheriff Tompkins says this situation sheds a light on the need for better, transparent communication between the sheriff's office, the jail, the courts, and the police department. She says even with all of the media coverage, she nor her staff had any idea of the situation at hand.
No one in my agency was aware when they classified him, when they put him where they put him. No one was aware of a specific threat to any group, nor did he indicate any at this point to our security, our medical, or our mental health staff.
From what I'm told, Hatchett did not mention race as a factor in this crime, but we'll learn all the details in court tomorrow morning.
As you said, Samantha, it sounds like they are certainly going to look at working on communication for sure. Thank you for the live report tonight.
Opelika police, meantime, are investigating a shooting that left 2 people injured. Police responded to that shooting on Hurst Street just after 11 o'clock last night. Authorities say a home and 2 vehicles were shot into. and 2 people suffered minor gunshot injuries. Both victims treated and released from the hospital. Police continue investigating what led up to that shooting. Our top stories are developing. To stay updated on these and the latest details on other stories, stay with Newsletter 9 on air and online at WTVM.com.
Going to turn now to our weather. Not too bad for your back to work Tuesday. Here's a live look right now from our Alpha Insurance Skycam. Looking out at uptown Columbus. Lots of blue skies out there for now.
Yeah, it looks nice now that we've made it through Labor Day. Can maybe some fall-like weather be in our maybe near future? Here's Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid.
Well, guys, we've got still a hot forecast for you over the next few days. The fall weather put on hold for at least a little while. Today, pretty warm. Highs back in the 90s, 90 in Columbus, 91 at Fort Benning, and 92 down in Albany. Right now, it's 89 in the Fountain City, 88 over in Macon, and Montgomery at 90. We started the day with a lot of sun. We've since seen some clouds move in, but no real rain close by. Things have been pretty dry today. A little wet on the East Coast, but I think that's where the wet weather's going to stay here in the coming days. Here's a look ahead for you. Early tomorrow morning, we'll be back down in the upper 60s and low 70s. Another comfortable start on our Wednesday. But what about the rest of the week? We're going to talk about it for you in the forecast here in a bit, guys.
All right, Derek, thank you. With the Labor Day holiday sweeping past us, a possible spike in coronavirus cases remain a concern of health officials. In Alabama, 405 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 were added since yesterday, bringing the total to nearly 122,000. The state's confirmed death total is more than 2,000 right now. Georgia reports just over 285,000 COVID cases since the pandemic began. Nearly 1,600 of those reported today alone. 6,000 people have died from the virus in Georgia. Governor Kemp urging citizens to continue to wear masks, practice social distancing, wash hands, and follow state executive orders.
Well, just last month, several universities in Georgia and Alabama experiencing a spike in COVID cases across their campuses. Auburn University hoping to monitor the number of asymptomatic COVID-19 infections across campus with a new testing program. Today's program launching comes as the university announces nearly 600 people tested positive for the virus just last week. And our Katie Cameron joins us live from Auburn's campus. So, Katie, tell us more about this testing program and what students are saying about it.
Jason, it's called Sentinel testing, and essentially the university wants to test random samples of student, staff, and faculty for COVID-19, beginning now until the end of the semester. According to the university's website, students and staff will receive an email if they're randomly selected for the testing. Participation is highly encouraged, but not mandatory. According to AU's website, this testing program aims to monitor the prevalence of COVID-19 on campus, and they say it's an important part of their health and safety plan. They also say that Sentinel testing allows them to respond quickly to increases in infection rates, and students I spoke with today seem to be mostly in favor of the new random testing.
In an effort to see if there are any areas of concern, most of these people are probably going to be asymptomatic, so it gives us an idea of what's going on the campus day in and day out.
I have nothing to hide, so I'll go participate. I'll do it.
I would probably. I would probably go get tested if I had the time.
Like, if they ask me to go get tested, I'll get tested.
Those eligible for the testing include students who are registered for traditional classes on campus, as well as employees who are assigned to the main campus. People who are showing symptoms or who have tested positive in the last 12 weeks are not eligible. The testing takes place at the Beard Eaves Memorial Coliseum, and sampling for the testing will take place each week. Live in Auburn, Katie Cameron, WTVM News Leader 9.
And taking action to help stop, hopefully, the spread at Auburn University. All right, thank you, Katie, for that live report.
Well, there is some positive news on the COVID front as well tonight. In Columbus, officials say things are looking better. In his update to city councilors this morning, Mayor Skip Henderson says hospitalizations and new infections are on the decline in the Fountain City. With the holiday weekend ending Monday night, Henderson says he's thankful folks listened to the pleas from others in terms of staying safe over the extended break.
We just got through the Labor Day weekend. I want to compliment and thank the residents of this community for scaling down some of those celebrations and celebrating in little smaller groups.
In holidays past, such as Memorial Day and the 4th of July, Columbus saw major COVID-19 spikes. We're going to have to wait and see what the tests say over the next few days to see if our actions this go around were positive. Georgia's Secretary of State says that his office is investigating double voting in the June primary. That would mean people submitted absentee ballots but also voted in person.
We're expecting strong participation from voters, but every voter, you get one vote, not two.
Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger says his office has identified about 1,000 cases of potential double voting across 100 counties statewide. He says many times when this happens, ballots are canceled. This time, Raffensperger says the issue falls on election officials and poll workers.
It's not the system caught it, but it is something that we're going to be making sure that we get back to training on the election officials.
Raffensperger says some of the double ballots did show up in election results, but they didn't affect any results. The investigation ongoing, and his office plans to hand over its findings to the state attorney general and local district attorneys for possible prosecution. Coming up next here on the News at 6, more than 1,000 cases of coronavirus on the University of Alabama's campus.
But find out why the mayor's reopening bars in their college town.